everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. Before we begin, can we just get into a brief word of prayer? All heads bowed. Dear God, we just thank you so much for this day. We thank you so much for just being here among us. God, we love you. We bless your name, for you are great and greatly to be praised, Lord. We just ask that whatever is said here today, God will edify and be valuable to those who are listening. God, that as we seek you in all of our plans and all of our ways, God, that we would be directed in the ways in which we should go in order to succeed greatly in our different parts in life. And Lord, I just ask that you just give each and every presenter here the courage, the strength, and the instructions that they need in order to get through this presentation, God, and let everything just be said with good salt and good value. In Jesus' name I pray, amen. All right, guys, so we will have brief remarks coming in from the Director of UB Alumni Affairs Office, Mr. Alvaro Thompson.
Okay, thank you so much, Krista. I really appreciate it. And thank you so much for agreeing to be our host for today. So welcome students and welcome everyone. I would just like
My
to,
pleasure.
thank you, officially welcome everyone to today's Career Connect. And so on behalf of our president, Dr. Rodney D. Smith, the university's Board of Trustees, and our faculty, along with our faculty and the Alumni Association, I would just like to welcome you all to today's Career Connect. Like Krista would have said, today's Career Connect is an annual event hosted by the Alumni Affairs. And so one of our main goals, in addition to offering you these opportunities to network, is to be able to add value wherever we can. And so it's events like these that help and assist to add value to your student experience. It helps to deepen and broaden your student experience, and it also helps to add values to your degrees when eventually you all graduate. And so I'm really honored and happy to see all of you students that have registered and are interested in participating in today's event. It's very important, especially what all of you are about to, seeing that all of you are about to go into the job market. And so I would just like to encourage all of you to take full advantage of all of the sessions, the breakout sessions today, and take full advantage and heed the messages from all of the various hosts. And so I'd just like to once again welcome you all. I'd also like to thank each and every one of our hosts. Most of you and all of you, I remember you from when you were students. So I'm so happy to see all of you come back and agree to participate in today's event. And so just like to thank Krista, Miss Jillian Gray, Gary Wong, uh, Natanya Flowers, Mr. Devon Edgecombe, and of course, Mr. Lincoln Deal. Thank you all for agreeing to be hosts for today's sessions, and I look forward to all of the breakout sessions for today. So thank you once again. Thank you all again.
Thank you so much, Mr. Thompson, for those kind words. We are living in an age where it's so important that the next generation of leaders obtain the necessary advice from seasoned, trusted, and proven leaders to accelerate their careers and equip them for becoming leaders and nation builders in their respective career paths. During the years of 2019 and 2020, we explored the themes maneuvering and managing change in a new era, and it's time to soar. For our speed, mentoring, and networking events, and now today, we want to provide you with the practical keys to assist you with jump-starting your career after UB in the field that you absolutely love. We want to help you successfully bridge the gap between graduation and university and launching into your career. We have an exciting session planned for you today and special breakout networking rooms towards the end of the event in filmmaking, media and journalism, job interview coaching, engineering, and entrepreneurship. We will have an opportunity to network with our speakers and discuss possible job training and employment opportunities. So guys, the moment you've all been waiting for. Our five presenters today are Miss Natoya Flowers, coach and founder of the Interview Coach, Mr. Gary Wong, Chief Creative Officer and filmmaker at Helium Creative, Mr. Devon Edgecombe, Principal Structural Engineer at Braun Limited, Mrs. C. Jillian Gray, journalist at Our News, and Mr. Lincoln Deal, CEO at Eden Farms Limited. So first up, as we mentioned, we'll be having Miss Natoya Flowers up, and she'll be talking on the topic of keys to securing a job you love to jumpstart your career. Natoya is a 28-year-old thought leader whose passion is people. She believed that we all have innate characteristics that propels us into greatness. Thus, the reason she started the Interview Coach. Natoya is a trained life coach and soft skill facilitator. She also has her focus on the social development of Bahamian youth. From 2018 to now, she has been working along with agencies like National Training Agency and Ranfully Home, where she has been awarded the opportunity to pour into the lives of others who needed it the most. She is now in the process of working with a number of local schools to implement interview coaching for departing senior students. She aspires one day to run in the general election and to be a part of the change that happens, especially among the youth. She believes that the development of healthy mindsets at a young age can be the vehicle to change for the Bahamas in the years to come. She enjoys many things, but mentoring and serving are some of her most fulfilling hobbies. And she hopes that she can leave this world just a tad bit better than how she met it, even if that's through one single act or moment. Please welcome Natoya Flowers.
All right, it's a pleasure. Hello, everyone. It is such a pleasure to be here with you all today. Like Krista has said, my name is Natoya Flowers, known as the Interview Coach. I have started the Interview Coach. I've been interview coaching for a while, about 2 to 3 years, but I made it official last year during the pandemic, as I saw it would have been a great need by the time as people would have started to, get back into the workforce again. So I'm here to pour some inspiration, motivation, encouragement, whatever wisdom that I have to give back to you all. And I am just so excited to do just that. So I know a lot of us have heard the term before in our lives. It's not what you know, it's who you know, right? We leave college, a lot of you, I'm pretty sure you all have already gotten discouraging messages from people that, girl, well, good luck. I hope, you're able to find a job because, this is happening and that is happening and X, Y, and Z. And guess what? That is fine. That is fine. That could happen. Yes, people are getting, handouts here and there, but that is not you. So I want us today, from I start this talk to the end of this talk, we're going to look at that phrase a little bit more differently. It's absolutely what you know, but who you know helps. So for me, for the key that I want to give you all is the basic necessity of proximity. To get to that career that you love, how important it is to be in proximity to the area or to the career that it is that you are desiring. And there are ways that we can do that is not always you know, from handing a resume to someone on in a business or applying online. It is through using the connections and the relationships of the people that are around you. So let's begin. So like I said before, we're going to look at the phrase, it's not what you know, it's who you know. So, but the difference between you and somebody who would benefit from that phrase is that you know something. All of you are qualified, you're educated individuals getting ready to leave the college industry, the college world behind to go now into the career fields. So you're not like somebody who's looking for a handout. You are looking for an opportunity. I want to say that again. You are not looking for a handout. You are looking for an opportunity. So when you are working on building relationships, have that in mind. I'm not looking for you to just give me something for free. No, I'm looking for someone to give me an opportunity to share my talents, my skill, my knowledge with the world. And that's what makes you different from somebody else who's now just trying to get a free handout. All right. So as we journey along, we have to realize that there are sometimes can be a lot of things that cripple us, you know, from getting to that place of getting the career that we love. And there are two things in particular that cripples us. And I want us to, you know, to just zone in on these for a little bit. That's pride and fear. Why pride? Pride is one of those things where it makes you feel as though I can do this by myself. I don't need anybody else. Oh, well, I have the degree, so of course, that just automatically means that I can get the job. No, it does not. No, it does not. It should be that way, but like we said, knowing people, being connected to the right people, it helps. If you have a conversation with any successful person, if you could think about the most successful person inside your mind today, and you were to ask them, how did you get here? They're going to tell you, I did not do this by myself. They had mentors, they had colleagues, they had friends, people who just were aware of what their skill set was, who helped to push it for them. But guess why? Because they saw it in them, because they believed it in themselves first, and someone else saw what they believed about themselves. So you can't just sit back and expect, oh, I have a degree now, this door should just automatically open. It does work that way for some people. It does. And we're not disqualifying that. But being intentional and being humble in your approach to working the relationships around you who can help to offer you opportunities is going to be much, much more. It's more to make your journey so much more easier to get from step one to step two. So let's, like I said, pride. Pride keeps you back. Pride is one of those things where it makes you feel you can do it by yourself. Pride makes you overly confident in things like that. Yes, you may have the degree, but then yet you don't have the experience. But pride will make you feel as though the degree is just enough and that is all of it. And, you know, I'm deserving. I deserve to be here. I deserve to have this. Give me. And even though you are deserving, you still have to now build in that way. People need to see it in you. People need to believe that you are capable of what it is that they are, the mission and the goal that they're trying to accomplish. So whenever you are awarded any opportunity, even if it's through volunteer service, even if you're just helping somebody else because you have the skill set that can be beneficial to them, even the most smallest of opportunities, use even your smallest opportunities to really showcase your work. Give your best effort in the most smallest of opportunities, because people see that. They're then able to see your skill, they're able to see your talent, and they could then recommend you. I would use, for an example, me just being here today. I'm not here today because, you know, it just dropped in my lap. People were aware of what it is that I do. The relationships that I had in my life, they were aware of what it is that I do. They saw that I was already in a position of doing this thing. They trusted it, and the opportunity came about. No, I didn't ask, but the opportunity came about because they've already seen that I've been giving of myself. I've been being very intentional about the way that I've been networking. I've been intentional about the way that I've been connecting with people, the way that I've been moving around the information that I've shared. And someone saw that and she was like, oh, she looks like someone who can be beneficial to what it is that we're trying to do. So pride When you're trying to move up now from this place of from college student to being in the career world, pride won't cut it. We have to know how to close the door on pride and how to receive, to be open, to be humble, to receive teaching, to receive guidance. The next thing we're going to look at is fear. And there are two types of fear. There's that fear of rejection, and there's the fear of failure. We cannot allow fear to keep us back. If you look around at the people that you have around you, your mom may need somebody who's in a position in a particular agency that you're trying to get into. I'm not telling you to tell your mom, mommy, go and ask her for me. No. You ask your mother to get a contact. Can I give her a call? And don't be afraid to get a no. Getting a no is not an enemy. Not asking is an enemy. Whenever you are in your mind afraid to get a no, you are now placing the responsibility of that person's response on you. We are not responsible for people's responses. We are responsible for our own. So a lot of us sometimes, I know I do it. I do this thing where in my mind, I'm making determinations of what I think this person is going to say. You know, they're going to tell me no, that's not my job. It's my job to ask. It's my job to put myself out there. If someone tells me no, then so be it. And guess what though? Every single no you ever get in your life is leading you to that yes. Every time you get a no, you get to now get another opportunity. You get to seek out another opportunity that's going to get you to the place that you actually want to be. We're not just trying to take up space in places. We're trying to be in places that's going to make impacts, that we're going to make impact, that's going to change our lives, that's going to build us up. So every time you think about you getting a no and you want to feel discouraged about getting a no, take that thought and I'm like, you know what? This no is going to lead me to my next yes. I get to now continue journeying forward. I get to now do more research. I get to reach out to somebody else who could possibly this might even be a better opportunity than I thought. So don't be afraid of rejection. Like I said, asking and getting a no, not the enemy. It's not asking that's the enemy. Secondly, the fear of failure. Whew, I don't know about y'all, but this happens to me. Oh, what if I get this opportunity and I drop the ball? Oh, what if this happens and what if that happens? Every time you are now reaching out to get into, like you're filling out an application somewhere, you are going on a job interview. If someone calls you and they want to speak with you, they want to connect with you about something, you need to remind yourself of why you are capable. Remind yourself of your skills. Remind yourself of your talents. Remind yourself of what you know to be true about yourself. And will you fail? Maybe once or twice on your journey. But failure, when you're trying to get to success, failure is not a part of our plan, but it is a part of that process. It is a part of that process of success. No one may be shouting aloud about their failures, but everybody have experienced it. And failure is where we grow. Failure is where we see what we need to work on. Failure is where we are challenged. Failure is when we start to now rearrange and okay, let's go back to the drawing board. Okay, what can we do better? What can I change? What can I fix? What can I rearrange? What can I make better? Do not be afraid to fail. Just don't stay down. Don't use failure as an opportunity to say you quit, because that's not what it is. Failure is just an opportunity to redirect and to rebuild. So you get back up. You get back up and you keep trying. So get rid of pride. Do not be afraid of fear of rejection, and do not be afraid to fail. As you are journeying, trying to get from this place, like I said, from graduation. By the way, congratulations to all of you that are graduating this year. Very, very proud of all of you. As you're getting from that place, from the place of graduation, to trying to get to the career that you love, those three are key. Be humble in every single approach. Be humble in reaching out for and asking for help. Do not think that you are above asking someone for help. Because the person that you're seeking to get help from, they have a degree as well. but show them that, listen, I have something to contribute. I'm not looking for a handout. I'm looking for an opportunity because I have something to contribute. I want to deposit into this organization, into this company, just as much as I want this company to deposit back in me. Be teachable. Be teachable. Let people see that you are open to listen. Let people see that you're open to learn. When they see that and they feel as though, oh, wow, she's very flexible. She's someone who can adapt. She's someone who can be an asset to our team, not only because of her skill set, but because of her attitude. She's so positive. She's so encouraging. She just looks as if, or he, sorry, for the guys, he looks as if we bring him into this today, he won't really have a challenge. We won't have to worry about him having a challenge with an employee that sits next to him. We don't have to worry about this. He doesn't seem arrogant. He doesn't seem super boastful. No, he seems like a team player. Being a team player is important. That is something I could tell you. When it comes to HR, HR is looking for team players. And for y'all who don't have that on one of your skill set on your resume, put it after this today, you put that there. You know, you work well with teams. Management, and they need to know that they have team players. Because when they're hiring, they're not looking for someone just for right now. They're looking for someone who can help them to accomplish their goal. They're looking at their company from the next 5-10 years from now, not just to fill this spot today. And that's where the question usually comes up. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? This is a trick question, and I can't even get into it. But sometimes it can be a tricky question. Yes, you be honest about where you want to be, but at the same time, you have to be mindful of who this company is and where this company is trying to go. Because they need people who can grow with them. Because every time they have to rehire someone else or retrain somebody else, that's costing the company money. That's costing this company more and more money. So don't just go somewhere to take up space. Go somewhere to be changed, to be changed. Go somewhere to contribute. Go somewhere where you can learn. Go somewhere you're trying to grow. If you can't see yourself doing any of those things when you are now in your search for a job career, leave it alone because you won't be that long. 2 months tops, but maybe 6 months, maybe a year. But you don't want that inconsistency showing up on your resume where I've been here for a year, I've been here for a year, I've been here for a year, I've been here for a year. You're just trying to take up space. You're not trying to contribute. You're not trying to learn. You're not trying to grow. So always have these things to the forefront of your mind. What is my mission? What is it that I'm aiming for? What is it that I'm trying to accomplish? And let that lead you in your process as you are job seeking, as you are applying, as you are interviewing. Let that be in the forefront of your mind as they're asking you questions and as you're giving them responses. Lastly, what I want to leave with you is how important it is to have key relationships in your life. There are 3 people that you need to have in your life, 3 kinds of people as it relates to getting to the career that you love. You need to have somebody that is above you, which is a mentor, someone who is already where you want to be. That person gets to pour back into you, and they get to teach you, and they get to groom you, and they get to show you some of the tricks and trade of this particular path that you're trying to work on, or this particular industry. You need peers, someone who is doing this journey with you, someone who understands where you are, someone who you can take some of your challenges to, and they can be like, oh, I understand, I am there as well. Someone who can walk with you through the valley, the shadow of death, because it's rough sometimes. And then you need someone, I wouldn't call them beneath you, but you need a mentee, someone that you can also be pouring back into. So there's this recurring cycle. A mentor, a peer, and a mentee. The reason that a mentee is important is because we learn by teaching. We get more equipped, we get more knowledgeable as we share. So the more that you share your insights of this agency or this area or this industry, the thing that you're trying to build in, tutor someone who is in UB still. You're leaving, they're still there. taking someone under your wing to say that, oh, I want to tutor you, to help you get to that next step, that's going to be useful to you. Because every time you're sharing this knowledge and information with someone, it's sticking. You're going to remember it better. That's why teachers are so good at what they do. They teach things over, over, over. Some of them could recite some of those topics from the back, like with their eyes closed. They could write on that board and don't even have to look in a book. They could just regurgitate everything it is that they know, because they're constantly sharing, they're constantly teaching, and as they're teaching, they are learning. So be teachable, get rid of pride, let go of the fear of rejection, let go of the fear of failure. And y'all are going to have a successful journey as long as you are constantly mindful of what your mission is. Stay focused on a mission, have a mission in mind. See your mission, see your goal. What is the mission that you have for yourself? Where do you want to see yourself? Be motivated, but even more than being motivated, be disciplined. Because when motivation can't come up, discipline gets you to keep going. So I hope that all of you are encouraged. I'm excited for you. Like I said, congratulations once again, class of 2021. I look forward to just working with some of you in the future in whichever capacity that may be. But y'all are going to do well. Y'all are going to excel. And I wish all the best for each and every one of you. So for any of your needs with resume writing, you want, just to be prepared for some of the hard questions of the interview. I'm here, I do coaching on, the difficult challenges that people face, people who may have anxiety of speaking or, anything of that sort. You can reach out to me and I would be glad to work with you. Interviews are not as hard as you think they are. Some people, we understand the anxiety, and that's why I'm here to help, hold your hand through that process and get you ready. All right, so I hope all of you have a wonderful day. Thank you, Krista.
Thank you so much, Natoya. Wow, that was super insightful. All right, so we're going to be moving on to our next speaker, which is Gary Wong, and he will be sharing his story based off of his career in filmmaking. All right, so Gary Wong received his first camera when he was 12 years old from his father. Gary Wong continued on his ongoing love and career in videography when he moved to the United States for college in 2012. After college, he had the opportunity to work for a Los Angeles-based production company for 5 years, after which he moved back to the Bahamas to start his own company, Helium Creative. Gary's agility, love of travel, and attention to detail complement his work as a visual artist. Gary combines his love for travel and filmmaking, telling stories and sharing the perspectives of people through music, videos, journalistic vignettes, and short documentaries. Please welcome Gary Wong.
All right. Thank you so much for the introduction. It's a pleasure being able to speak on this today. So I'm just gonna let you guys know right now, I don't have any fancy speech or anything of it. I'm basically gonna be authentic and tell my story, and hopefully you guys can resonate and relate to where you guys are at right now in your studies and your journey. So yes, as most of you probably don't know, when I was younger, I really wanted to be a mechanic. That was my first passion. But it wasn't until around grade 8, in junior high school, where I sort of fell in love with video production. So I've been doing it since then, and I would be around school, my little DV camera, recording all of the school videos, that kind of stuff. And it just kind of grew into a passion as I went into high school and started my college career in the university. I'll tell you guys right now, I'm not a big stickler on traditional education. I actually never really liked school, if you can believe it or not. Never liked college. But I do see the opportunity in college where it just kind of puts you in positions that you wouldn't have been otherwise. So in that sense, I like it. But in college, my college career was I did good in school, right? But um, sorry, likewise. But yep, I went to school in Tennessee. I got a bachelor's in digital media studies in the media field. But in college, I would like use every opportunity I could to actually try to get experience in my field that I'm studying. So whatever field you're in, that you can relate to that. Like, don't just try to keep whatever you're learning. Just kind of think that you only can learn in class. You know, I feel like the most experience, the most valuable lessons come from actually doing stuff on your own and just trying to apply, you know, further knowledge in your everyday life and what's not. So I did that. Um, I hated Tennessee. Tennessee was not for me. But after that, soon after college, I got an opportunity to, actually my last semester, I got the opportunity to go to Los Angeles to study, to actually intern for a company and do my last semester of school. And that right there was a uh, big opportunity for me. Um, I feel like even if you're in college, we guys are in culture now, you should be trying to look for, I would say, mentors or companies that would allow you to not even getting paid to go in and just like kind of like shadow them and learn and what's not. And so I did a semester. I did like one semester internship, and after that, the company wanted to hire me full time. After I graduated, so that was an extreme blessing that I'm grateful for. So it was a LA based company, a boutique company, it's a small company. I was actually the first employee at the company, and so many doors were opened from that. I'm so grateful of. Um, I was able to travel like all around the US, internationally at some point. Got a ton of experience in my field, um, which is invaluable, I feel like, right now for me. And yep, I feel like everyone I feel like I like to try to open those same doors for persons, whereas, you know, even if you're not like uh, off in the US or wherever studying, that even if you're home, close to and Scarlet opened and sets was not to drop shop they want. So if you guys are something like that, feel free to hit me up and possibly can come on sets and that kind of stuff. But yeah, I feel like that's really big in terms of really catapulting your whatever industry you're in, just like catapulting your level of skill and just like putting yourself in those positions where you're on actual real life. But in college, I mean in LA, it was awesome. I was there, and during that time, I was still like on the wall if I wanted to stay there permanently. Like a year after I got applied, I got like a denial letter in the mail. I don't want to go into the details of it, but yeah, it was kind of like, oh wow, that happened, and the company wanted to sponsor me again. So we did it again. It was in the process and was not, but I always had this kind of like nagging feeling like, oh, do I really want to be here? I always like, uh, I miss home so much. I feel like I could contribute so much to the market home. And I feel like in so many industries, there's so much potential to like, for like next level, like work. And I feel like this generation that we're in now, can really like change the outlook of everything. But anyways, so so after that, after applying the second time for green card, I made a decision that I want to come home. I started my own company. And that was in 2019. And then a few months later, I moved back home in July. And that's where I started Helium. And I know some people look at my company now and be like, oh, so cool, like, I mean, I haven't made blah, blah, blah. But honestly, like, I'm learning every day. Even though I graduated, like, what was it, 5 years ago, like, I still have so much stuff to learn. Your learning never stops, you know? You have to keep pushing yourself continuously. And it's like hard, you know what I mean? Some days I wake up, I'm like, I ain't sure if I want to do this no more, but I'm glad that I found something that I love to do. And I feel like, you know, you need to, everyone should try to find their love, like sometimes it'll be hard to find, sometimes take longer for others to find, but I feel like there's something out there for everyone. And I know you guys, some of you might be studying something in school and you're not sure if that's exactly what you want to do, but you never know. So, like certain things lead to other doors. You might be studying finance, but then, you start working at a company and you kind of dabble into the marketing field of that company and you're like, oh wow, I love this. So that's how they'll say, just keep trying to be consistent, putting your best foot forward, be humble. Um, sometimes people are gonna try you know what I mean? But that's just a part of it. Um, and yeah, so yeah, and I feel like also what I've seen so much in this landscape is that, especially right now, like social media, I feel like everyone should be using their social media platforms to elevate their, in terms of a business sense and their network. So for example, I feel like all you guys you should be actively on LinkedIn, following persons in your field that you want to be in, you want to grow in, and just start building connections. You don't know how those connections going to come back to you, or you happen kind of getting a job or facilitating something else in the future. And also, I feel like you guys should be posting consistently relevant stuff like towards your fields. So, for example, if you're in the, let's say, if you're into video production, photography, you should be posting photos, videos of your content every day. You know what I mean? If you're into culinary arts, so and so, you should be showing your audience, your general audience, like what you can do, what you'll be learning in school. Like you should be stepping it up. But you never know if someone at like Sandals, someone at Bahamas can see, potential in what you've been doing online. And you want to hire you just because of your influence online. Because I feel like in the last year, um, since COVID hit, like I always, try to tell stories to my clients, and that's the way I kind of tell people uplift their brand and what's not. But I noticed that that's something I wasn't doing for my own brand. So in the last year, I really made a point to, I don't know if you've seen, I've been like telling stories, telling my story first of all, and just posting relevant content to my brand and pushing ads behind them. And I feel since I've been doing that, it's such a it's such a amazing response it's been since for that. And I feel like you don't even have to be a company to do that. You can do that just for your own personal brand, even where you are right now in UB. And yep. So you guys we're here on set filming and Exoma. Sorry, just a quick detour. I'll check it out. This is like epic. Yeah. But that's pretty much it for me. Um lastly, it's like close out and saying that you know, the journey, if it's easy, it ain't worth it, So be prepared for hard work and making things happen and changing things in our country, you know.
Thank you so much, Gary. Can you just, oh, I see they have it there. Thank you so much. They already put your handles, Facebook and Instagram in the chat, so you guys can go check him out. So next we'll be having Devon Edgecombe, and he is just going to share a bit about his career in engineering. And for his bio, Devon and his colleagues have been involved with technical reconnaissance assessments with the United Nations Development Program, UNDP, the government of the Bahamas, NGOs, local contractors, and private developers and homeowners. Devon is a registered professional civil and structural engineer in the Bahamas and Florida. He specializes in the project management and structural design of commercial buildings and luxury residential homes, but has much experience in the design and construction of the construction of buildings, marinas, seawalls, and other structures. Devon has collaborated with architects, engineers, and developers locally and from around the world. Devon has served as structural project lead for a variety of notable projects in the Bahamas, such as Bahama Hurricane Hole, Caves Corporate Center, Goldwyn Hotel, Children's Bay Key, 1 Cable Beach, 36, and Aquilino. He received a dual Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering and Architectural Engineering from Drexel University, Pennsylvania. Additionally, he graduated from the College/University of the Bahamas with an Associate of Science degree in architecture, for which he received an Institute of Bahamian Architects Award, IBA. He enjoys teaching the public the benefits of thinking like an engineer in hopes that they may go on to become problem solvers and teach others. Please welcome Mr. Devon Edgecombe.
Thank you, Krishna, for that kind introduction. So I'm going to touch on some of the items that Gary and Natoya would have mentioned. But first, let me get started by pulling up the slide. I hope I'm not the only one that actually prepared slides for this thing. It may be a good or bad thing. So we're going to have a breakout session, but I'm going to ask a few signaling questions, not really for responses immediately, but just to get you to think about it as we go on. So my name is Devon Edgecombe. Good evening, everyone. I'll provide more details, but I just got a few questions I want to ask. How many of you know exactly what you're going to do when you graduate from university? And you can put it in the message box, or you can think about it until the breakout session. What type of careers do you guys have in mind? How many of you are worried about being successful, and why? So I'm here to tell you that to be afraid or unsure about the future is fine, like Natoya said, but it's what you do about your fears and how you manage things that you can and can't control is what makes you successful. I want you to ask yourself 3 questions. What brings me joy? What am I great at? And what will people pay me to do? You're going to need to find the sweet spot that answers all of these questions. And it is a trivial way to look at it, but it's a very useful and simple way to think about it. Clearly, life isn't this simple. You won't always get that sweet spot. You're probably going to be off center most of, well, let's not say most of your life, but some portions of your life. But the idea is to try to get back to that sweet spot. So we're going to talk a little bit about my experiences. Then we're going to talk a little bit about your experiences. And hopefully we can conclude this presentation feeling optimistic about the future and excited to work towards successful careers. A little bit about me. As Krishna stated, I'm a licensed professional engineer in the Bahamas, Florida, and Canada. I graduated from the University of the Bahamas, studying architecture, and Drexel University in Philadelphia. I also studied civil engineering and architectural engineering. I attended all government schools, Carmichael Primary, S.A. McPherson, and C.V. Battle. As an engineer, you'll get to see a lot of stages of development. You have to be able to collaborate with others and to get the job done. As an engineer, you develop design drawings, engineering models, and attend site inspections and ensure the final product meets the desired result. Most developments follow this process. Some take months, and most take years to plan, design, and construct. They all have unique challenges, but all require dedication and great communication skills. So if I were to ask what many of you on this call think my first full-time job out of high school was, and you probably all get it wrong. But my first full-time job was a security guard. And I went to school in the day, and I actually worked night shift as a security guard at night to pay my way through University of the Bahamas, well, College of the Bahamas back then. You can see I have a backpack with my homework, and I got my lunch bag in my right hand there. And the question I want to ask is, do you think I always knew now, well, back then, if I knew now, that I would always been as successful as I am now as part owner of one of the largest engineering firms in the Caribbean. And I just want to let you guys keep in mind and always remember, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And as Natoya noted, it's all a process, and it's not really ending, and it's always an ongoing journey. So after years of studying and working part-time, I met new people from around the world and shared experiences I would never have if I didn't go to university. I learned a lot by collaborating with other people and sharing experiences and ideas. Again, I want you to think about these questions, and we can discuss them a bit more in detail in the breakout sessions. But I want you to think about if anyone here is aspiring to be an engineer, project manager, or work in construction. I want you to think about, give me a definition of what you think a civil engineer does. And then we can dive in deeper into these questions during the breakout sections. So again, I keep bringing up this Venn diagram because it hits a strong point. You need to focus on what you're great at, what people pay you for, and what brings you the most joy. Find that sweet spot. So you're always gonna have challenges when choosing a career. The key thing is to always seek to learn new things, consider all your options, and work out of your comfort zone. Don't be expected to be given anything you didn't work for. Some people are fortunate and they do get things, and it works out pretty well, but you really got to work for what you want. So Gary touched a little bit on this. So there's different things you can do to be successful. You can go to school, but it's not the only option, right? Some people can't afford school. Some people can't afford to go to school and live abroad, right? But those are only two options. You have many other options, and it all comes down to your creativity and your willingness to maintain positive attitude and try to get things done. So what are you going to do? You have options. You can go to graduate school, you can find a job, you can create a job, or you can be even more creative. So I'm going to end right here, and I'm going to put my email in the message box here. but you can reach me at dedgecombe@bbraun.com if you have any further questions, or you can meet me in the breakout sessions to talk a little bit more. And by the way, our company is hiring several positions. So if you are interested in anything, environmental engineering, coastal engineering, structural engineering, project management, if you have an architecture background, design background, we're looking to bring in a couple of new people, and we can discuss details on that. And with that, I'd like to end and thank you guys for having me and giving me your attention.
Thank you so much, Devon. Well, you guys heard that. Get in on these opportunities. They're giving out, well, opportunities for jobs. And so you definitely want to check that out. So our next speaker, moving right along, will be Mrs. C. Jillian Gray. And she will just be sharing a bit about her life and her career in media and journalism. So Jillian is a passionate creative who describes herself as someone in the pursuit of John 10, verse 10. That is an abundant life. When she joined the College of the Bahamas back in 2009, it was with the intent to become an English teacher. So after 2 years, she took a break and then came back to step into her true calling, which was a storyteller in the field of journalism. Jillian is an author, speaker, host, and owner in the magazine Faith Over Fear Mag, which she started after a class at UB. Her one advice to young adults is to live life as a light, shining bright and revealing a path for others to follow. Please welcome Jillian Gray.
Hi, everyone. So, no, Devon, you are not the only geek here who did a slide presentation. I did one as well. So you are in good company. I'm a very visual person. So I always do. And as you would have heard, I started out being an educator. So I would have learned that there are different types of learners. And so that's why I always do a little presentation just so that people can kind of stay engaged. People love visuals. So that being said, like Krista said, and thank you guys so much for inviting me. Like Krista said, my name is Jillian, and I will be talking a little bit about media journalism. Now, I did like 4 really simple slides because I am a person who can talk and talk and talk. So I want to stay time on task. So first up, where did it all start? So as you would have heard, I wanted to be an educator, and I basically got into that because my mom is an educator. My entire life, she has been a teacher, then a principal. And so you can imagine how that was for me growing up in primary school and then high school. So I thought I wanted to be an educator, and I did that when I entered the University of the Bahamas. And after doing some of the practicals and things like that, I just realized, I ain't really sure that I should be teaching juring, because I just might snatch somebody if they say something wrong to me. So I said, you know what, let me reevaluate this. And so I took a break, and I don't know about you, but my parents, they are very involved in my life. They really want the best for me. And so they were not excited about me leaving the College of the Bahamas, but they couldn't say anything to me because I had recently gotten married. I got married at 21 in college, yes. I actually met my husband at college, as a side note. But yeah, they couldn't say anything to me anymore. I took a break, and then I took a leap of faith. I decided that I was going to work for my church. And that is actually where everything started to unfold. So as you see, one of the pictures here, you'll see in the red shirt, that was actually me doing the news and announcements for our church. And so after I started to kind of play around with media in the church sphere, that's how I kind of got started. Well, this may be something that I actually want to do for a career. And so that's when I went back to the University of the Bahamas. And so this is where you guys come in. I want you, a lot of people, they are very tunnel vision and they're in school and they're thinking, you know, these things are, am I ever going to use this in life? Yes, you will. So my first tip to you guys is to use everything that's at your disposal. That would be lecturers, every club, every intern opportunity, anything that you can find in your field of study that you want to that you can use to sharpen your skills, use that. As you can see here, this picture in the blue dress, that is when I was hosting UBTV. It started under Mr. Winston, Mr. Mitchell. It started under Mr. Mitchell. And if you look in the corner, you'll see me and Berthany. And actually, both of us are now working in the field. He's no longer a cameraman. He is one of my colleagues in Our News. And we really got our start with UBTV. So when I say use everything that is at your disposal, use everything. The next picture you will see is me at JCN. Take nothing for granted, because what happened to me is, because I did so well in UBTV and it actually aired on JCN's channel, the station managers asked if they had any students who would be interested in doing a part-time job at JCN, and he told us, and a few of us applied, and I was able to get the job. And at the time, we were like, JCN, like, are they a real station? Don't tell my colleagues I said that. But it was really great because I got a lot of experiences. As you can see here, I was able to interview ministers. Like, you do the exact same work as all of the other quote unquote big time news stations like Our News, Eyewitness, ZNS. And so it really helped me to kind of hone in on my skills, was able to interview the prime minister, different ministers, different persons in areas of expertise. And so I really appreciate my time at JCN. So yes, like I said, take no class for granted. While I was in school, I did a photojournalism class, and one of our final projects was to produce a booklet of various photos that we would have taken, and it's supposed to tell a story. Well, after I printed it, I had kind of like an aha moment. And as Krista said, I'm also a writer. And so it was a way to kind of, launching Faith Over Fear magazine was a way to kind of fuse my writing skills with storytelling, and also taking a bit of photography. I don't do photography anymore, but I still write, and I absolutely love it. Start now. So I have colleagues who actually started their journey in school, just like me. I was able to go to a news station, but some of them, they started their businesses while they were in school. They were taking photos, they were doing videos, anything that they could do to actually kind of get a jump start. They worked on internships and in different fields, and asked industry stakeholders if they could kind of shadow them. And they started while they were in school. Many of them now are some of the top in their field in photography, videography, and what it is that they do. So don't think that because you're actually in school, you have to wait until you graduate. You can start now with doing whatever it is that you want to do. Next, journalism in the Bahamas. So what is it that you want to be known for? And this is kind of like the meat of it here. So every reporter has a thing that they're known for. If you're in the journalism field, you would know it as a beat, whatever your news beat is. I know for newspaper, they have news beats for business. They have business reporters, lifestyle reporters. They also have court reporters. And to be a court reporter, you would have to know a little bit about the judiciary, about the court system and things like that, just so that you'll be reporting properly. But for the broadcast side, you really kind of have to carve out your own niche, because when you come in, you do everything. When I came in, I was covering the House of Assembly, I was covering cabinet, I had to know things in the financial field. I had to do it all. We always do it all. And sometimes it can be a little bit overwhelming when you have to know certain terms for every field there is in the Bahamas. But what you can do as well is carve out a niche for yourself. We have reporters who, whenever something comes up, you would know, I know who they're going to assign to this. For me, I am more of a human interest story reporter, because I love to tell stories about people. I love to tell stories that kind of either uplifts you through somebody's story of a challenge and then a triumph, or moves you to compassion to actually, help somebody. And so that's kind of the way that I have structured myself. Some of you may know one of my colleagues, Jared Higgs. He's the reporter on our team who, if somebody gets murdered, he's going to talk to the family. And it just started one day where someone had died, and he was assigned to it, and he just kind of found his thing, and then it just kind of continued from there. And then after that, yeah, he always did those types of stories. But my types of stories are human interest stories. And in order to carve out a niche, you have to be a good storyteller in whatever it is you carve out. So whatever types of stories it is that you want to do, make sure that you are a good storyteller. Make sure that you are picking the key points that people are interested in, because nobody would want to listen or read your story if it's not interesting. And sorry, I got a little lost just now. I have my notes on this side. Yes, be a good storyteller. Be versatile as well, because while you want to carve out a niche for yourself and make sure that if there's a certain type of story that you like, you're always placed on that story because you are good in that particular vein, you also want to be versatile. You want to know a little bit about everything, just in the event that you get placed on something else. Next, network. You have to build your contact list. We have contacts for almost just about every cabinet minister, every MP, people in the financial services sector, people in the religious sector, people in the tourism sector. You want to network and build your list. Every time you go out on an assignment, as soon as you get there, make small talk with people. Ask them about their portfolio. Ask them, as simple as it is. Sometimes I talk about clothes. I ask them where they got their suit, or, oh, that's a very nice tie. I would love to get that for my husband. Where did you get that from? And just small talk, and make sure get their number. Make sure all of their PR people have your contacts, and make sure you have their contacts, because whenever a story happens, case in point, whenever something happens, we're in the COVID-19 pandemic, whenever something happens in the COVID-19 pandemic and we need to get to Dr. Pearl Macmillan or Dr. Dal Regis or Renward Wells, we would need to have their contacts. And if your editor tells you that this is your story, how are you going to interview these people if you don't have their contacts? So definitely build your network, ask them for their numbers, and make sure that you have their numbers. You also want to know your organization. If you are a journalist, if you're in that field, you're aspiring to be in that field, you should be watching all news stations. ZNS, Eyewitness News, Our News, JCN, all of them. Read all of the newspapers. It's good for you to kind of see what stories they're doing, and it helps you to know what the organization is really about, because you would notice that we would all have the same stories, but it would come from a different angle, or sometimes some stories are the top story in one news station while it's the bottom story in another news station. And that's basically because different organizations have different priorities, and you want to know who it is that you work for, because you don't want to go on an assignment, you write a story, and then your editor is like, what is this crap? And trust me, they will cuss you. What is this? What are you giving me? You want to know what is important to your specific news organization that you're a part of. Now, my challenge to you is to write stories from now. So we often have live press conferences, whether it is for the health press conferences or our station goes live for whatever event we are at. I would challenge you to actually listen in and see what is being said. And then after that, go and write a story based on what it is that you think is the top story, what is the key bit of advice they would have given, what is going to be the topic of the day, of the news day, for either that 7:30 p.m. news or in the paper the next day. So write the story. And then after you write the story, listen to all of the news stations and read all of the newspapers and compare your stories. See how your story stacks up against some of the reporters that are in the industry. And that will kind of give you a basis as to how well you're doing, if you are really thinking based on the industry that you're about to go into or not. I found that for me, especially when I started to cover the House of Assembly, I was way off. I was like, okay. I came back to the news station when I was working at JCN one day, and I was like, okay. And I was so confident. I was like, yes. And I was telling my editor about that, and she looked at me like, that's the story? And I was like, yeah. And she said, okay, no, because she was listening in as well. And so she told me what the story was. And through that, I was able to kind of garner, okay, this is what I should be focusing on. I may think that this tidbit is interesting, but that's not the big story. And so you would want to kind of train your ear to hear what the story is now. Look at all of the news, read all of the newspapers, listen to all of the news, either whether it's on radio, on YouTube, on cable, wherever it is. Listen to it, read it, and see how what you thought was the story, what you thought was the right angle compares to what the news stations are actually doing. And I think that that'll kind of be a good basis. Like I said, I was going to be short and sweet because I really love dialogue. And so I want to connect with you guys in the breakout session. So if you have any questions about the industry, please do let me know. These are my contacts. You can email me. You can go to either one of my websites if you just kind of want to browse around. I always like to do digging about people who I want to connect with before I actually connect with them. So you can do that, but I am way open to answering questions, assisting where I can. You can always just reach out. And I do have a little bit of information on some job opportunities that I will also share in the breakout session. But if you have to go for any reason, this is it. You can apply to ZNS, ILTV production team. I know for a fact ILTV production team is looking for people. So if you are a videographer, photographer, or in that vein, you definitely need to reach out to them as soon as possible. For our TV, because of the COVID-19 pandemic, they're not certain that they are going to hire interns and or job placements, but I would still say apply. And then JCN says, yes, definitely apply to them. And like I said, I got my start at JCN. So don't you look down at JCN. A lot of people in this industry have actually started there and then they transferred to other stations. I hope that's something, I know I talked really fast, but I hope that something that I said would have pushed you, motivated you, interested you, and taught you something new? Krista?
Thank you so much, Jillian. You're definitely showing us that we won't always have it together. And that's something so important to understand, because the reality is you will flop sometimes, you will fail. But like Natoya mentioned, and like you mentioned as well, it's just about getting up again and trying over and over again. Before we get to our last and final guest panelists, I want to just mention, based off of what she just spoke about, we will be having links in the chat section where you can find the private rooms. We'll be having private breakout rooms. So if anything was said today that you wanted to find out further information about, or you want to see if they have any job opportunities, or if you just have a question you're burning to ask one of the panelists today, you can go into their links and further the conversation there. So let's get into our last and final speaker for the day, and that would be none other than the Mr. Lincoln Deal. And he will simply be sharing about his story about his career in entrepreneurship. And so Lincoln Deal II is 2018 Bahamian Icon Award nominee and National Award-winning entrepreneur. Lincoln serves as the founder and CEO of Eden Farms Limited, the pioneers of hydroponic container farming in the Bahamas and an innovative approach to agriculture. CEO of JetLink Adventures, the first and only water jet company in the Bahamas, Harbor Boat Tours, and the LD Group Limited. These business pursuits reflect Lincoln's commitment to his personal mantra to work hard and stay humble. Lincoln values inspiring young people to follow their passions through his program, Scholars Link, a nonprofit organization where individuals are empowered to become globally competitive entrepreneurs and innovators. Additionally, Lincoln's passion for philanthropy ignited the launch of #LunchBagBahamas in 2015, a nonprofit organization that provides meals to nearly 1,500 individuals in communities throughout Nassau and Grand Bahama. His contributions to the landscape of business and philanthropy earned him recognition in the 2020 Rotaract Club Service Above Self Award, 2018 Bahamian Icon Award, the 2017 Professional Service Bahamas 40 Under 40 Award, 2017 Elevation Award recipient of the People's Choice Awards, the Bahamas 2016 National Entrepreneur of the Year Award, and the 2009 Ministry of Education Pacesetter Award. Lincoln is married to Beth Lauren Deal, and they have one son, Lincoln Deal III. He studied economics and international business and currently serves on the board for the Bahamas Public Parks and Beach Authority and the Over the Hill Foundation in the Office of the Prime Minister. Every year, he participates in the International Forbes Summit and was appointed a member of the Forbes The Culture in 2017, becoming the first representative in the Caribbean to be a part of the global group. Lincoln is passionate about innovation, entrepreneurship, philanthropy, and national development in the Bahamas. Please welcome our last speaker, Lincoln Roosevelt Deal II.
Thank you, Krista. My whole government name.
That's what they have here, man.
Thank you. It is I'm extremely humbled and honored to be here today. Been under the weather, so just bear with me. No, it's not COVID, but having a 1-year-old, I think we both caught the flu. The topic today that I have is entrepreneurship, and it's definitely a passion of mine, something that I would have pursued, I would say, all of my life. Actually, from the age of 7, I began selling and creating popsicle structures and selling it to family and friends. And then I segued into organizations like Junior Achievement that was extremely business focused. And, from there, the rest was history. While I was in college, however, I found that most of the ideas that I'm executing today started from college, right? So I would spend time in my dorm room actually just researching different things, new and innovative products and ideas that I can use for when I return back home. I actually studied abroad. And most recently, I launched a company called Eden Farms in conjunction with Braun Limited. And it's funny because in 2013, that idea was conceptualized. The logo was made, the vision was put together, but it wasn't until 2021 that that became a reality. And I'm going to talk a bit about that, especially for those that are interested in entrepreneurship, because there's a saying that every overnight success takes 10 years. And quite frankly, that's wrapped up in so much truth, right? And so, the Bible say, write the vision and make it plain. And so that's what I did. Back in 2013, there were 3 ideas that I was juggling, right? One was Eden Farms, one was JetLink Adventures, and then there was another venture. I chose to pursue JetLink Adventures, which was the water jetpacks, right? And we would have been the first in the tourism industry to introduce such products and services to the Bahamas. But I always define entrepreneurship as an unpredictable journey. Unpredictable because you don't know what's going to happen. You have these ideas, you're passionate, you think that something is going to work. You want to be your own boss, but there's a lot of uncertainty being an entrepreneur. And it's a journey because it doesn't stop, right? You're constantly on this journey of trial and error, success and failure, profit and loss. And that's all wrapped up in entrepreneurship. A lot of people on Instagram and around the world, they make entrepreneurship look so easy and attractive, and everyone wants to be their own boss. They want to own this, own that. But it's the intricate details that truly make entrepreneurs and those risk takers successful. And so one of the first thing is you have to be patient, right? In 2013, when I started JetLink Adventures, I wrote the business plan while in college. I connected with an accounting friend of mine that helped me with the financials. I worked with an economics major that assisted me with putting the plan together. And so I began to pursue it. And in pursuing that, I started to face rejection. I started to face disappointment. I'm not sure if I've told the story in this forum before, but when I started JetLink Adventures, I got rejected 7 times from the regulatory body, right? They were saying it's too new, you're probably too young, it's not safe, it can't happen. Nothing like this is in the Bahamas, so it can't be introduced to the Bahamas, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I would have then been rejected by about 17 investors and 2 financial institutions because, again, college student trying to introduce this new product, access to funding was a big difficulty. And I find that a lot of entrepreneurs still have that difficulty today. And so on one hand, I'm being rejected by the government. On the next hand, I'm being rejected by financial institutions. And so you begin to ask yourself, why are you doing this? What is your why? Are all of these rejections and disappointment a sign from God, maybe to go in a different direction, or is this just simply a part of the process? And it took a lot of introspection. And that's why before you enter into something, a business, a venture, you want to have some type of passion for what you're doing, right? You want to have some type of love or desire to solve a problem. Because if you don't, after the first, second, third, or fourth rejection, which will come, you would probably just give up, right? You would probably just say, this isn't for me, this is too much, I can be doing other things. And so my why was always rooted. I genuinely love the tourism industry. I wanted to solve a problem. The problem was tourists always complain that there are a lack of activities in the Bahamas, right? And so we needed to find more diverse products and services, which is still the problem today, to introduce into the sector. And so I kept going because someone needed to push the envelope. Long story short, after all of those rejections from the government, rejections from the financial institutions, I had to go to the Supreme Court. And by God's grace, we were able to win the case. And subsequently, JetLink was birthed. And so there's pain in the entrepreneurial journey. And everyone's experience of entrepreneurship and starting a business is going to be different, right? You may not face a lot of rejection or disappointment, but there is a process, right? Fast forward 2020, COVID-19 comes and it shuts the world down. Now I face a new, a new issue. Hotels are closing, people aren't traveling to the Bahamas, cruise ships aren't coming here. Now my business suffers. So it's important as an entrepreneur to be resilient, right? Because you have to know how to pivot. You have to know how to shift a product, shift a service, shift an offering to keep up with the times, right? Starting a business isn't just, coming up with this product, these ideas, these services, and then thinking that you just stop. It's a constant journey, right? You have to continue to innovate, continue to shift your perspective on business, on customer service, and things of that nature. And so during the pandemic, I said, oh boy, what am I going to do, right? And so I thought back to 2013, right? My college days when I had these ideas. And Eden Farms came back, right? So I wrote the vision, I made it plain 7 years prior to it actually manifesting itself. And so a connection with Braun Limited, I see Devon Edgecombe, who presented a speaker or two before me. And we began to conceptualize a way to revolutionize food security in the Bahamas. Remember, one of the foundations of business and entrepreneurship is solving a problem, right? There's ideas all over this country, all over the world. It's simply just looking at a system, looking at a product, looking at a service, and trying to find a meaningful way to solve it. And in solving it, you provide an opportunity to create a business. So right now, the Bahamas imports $1 billion worth of fruits, vegetables, and other food items to the Bahamas. As Bahamians, we haven't tapped into the agricultural sector. And so a way to solve that problem, we wanted to create food 365 days out of the year on a consistent basis that's fresh. Because a lot of the produce that we're importing travels thousands of miles just to get to our plates. We wanted to connect our locals, our restaurants, our food stores with fresh, Bahamian, locally grown produce. And that was the birth of Eden Farms. Right now, we grow in 40-foot containers using LED technology, controlling the entire phone from a entire farm from a smartphone. And so we're integrating technology with food security. And so as you transition from college and you pursue various careers, if entrepreneurship is the route that you're going to take, you should start thinking about what problem can I solve in this country, whether it's in food, whether it's in tourism, whether it's in social security, whether it's in transportation. There are many problems around this country that needs to be solved. And it's not the government that's going to solve it. It's going to be persons like yourselves, young, vibrant, innovative, techie. You're going to see the world differently. You're going to see creating solutions to some of these problems that we've faced for so many decades differently. And in solving that is where the business opportunity is going to come in. And so I know that we are on a very tight time schedule, and I see that time is running out. But I want to say that every overnight success takes 10 years. It takes trial and error. What I went through in 2013 to this point has given me the experience that I needed to now operate in different business ventures, right? So if I didn't get rejected in 2013, if I didn't learn how to pitch to an investor when I got rejected, if I didn't learn how to fight for what I believe in and push and believe and pursue a dream that that God would have given you, then I wouldn't be where I am today. And the way that I see business wouldn't be the way that it is as well. And so I encourage you all to be resilient, be patient, trust the process, network as much as necessary. I see Gary Wong is on the call. Gary actually produced all of our videos for Eden Farms. So he's been very intricately involved in the process, right? I see C. Jillian Gray, who I think interviewed me maybe about 5 years ago when I finally got JetLink off the ground. But the Bahamas is a small place, and everyone and everything is interconnected. And so take advantage of those around you right now in college. Use your networks. There are things that you may not be good at that someone else may, right? So I may not be the greatest in accounts, but it's good to connect with like-minded individuals to create a team to solve some of these problems, right? So a lot of entrepreneurs think that they can do it all alone, all by themselves. But it's important to connect with like-minded individuals to speed up the process, to help you where you may not be as strong. And so networking is critical for your success. I feel that a lot of Bahamians don't like to get into partnerships because we just have trust issues. And that's good and fine, because I've had my share of horror stories in partnerships, but try to find people that have similar values as you, where you connect on a deeper level. And I think that's important. The next thing is learn from your mistakes, right? You don't always have to experience the pitfalls. Sometimes you can listen to others and see what they went through and try to avoid that similar path, right? And so when I tell this story of being rejected by investors, people ask, what can I do differently to pitch to an investor or find funding? And so I give them ideas. I give them strategies in which I believe that in this Bahamian market, they can access funding much quicker, right? Because access to funding is in the top 3 barriers to local entrepreneurship in the Bahamas. I think now more than ever before, there is more access to funding in the Bahamas. especially with programs like the SPDC and other venture capitalist firms. 7, 8 years ago, that wasn't the thing. If you weren't getting bank financing, if you didn't have a rich uncle or some inheritance, it was very difficult to get financing. I think that that's changed a bit, and that's good for us as a country. And then the next thing, and one of the final things before I go is believe in yourself, right? Believe in what you're doing. Believe in what you're pursuing. We have to push through the barriers. I believe that there's so much untapped opportunity and potential in the Bahamas. You know, when I look at Gary Wong and the quality that he produces from a videography standpoint, I am just blown away. You know, Gary is a world-class videographer. He's a Bahamian, but he's world-class. The same with Braun Limited. You know, their standard of excellence with engineering and constructing things is just mind-boggling. And so we have the local talent. We have people that can disrupt and change the game. And so be confident in yourself. Don't think that because you're from the Bahamas, you can't have a global mindset. Think globally, think beyond the Bahamas, and you will find success. So anyone that's interested in entrepreneurship, I'm here as needed. You know, if you have questions, concerns, feel free to send me a message on Facebook, Instagram. All of my social media handles are my name, Lincoln Deal. And so thank you so much, Yubi, for having me. And I look forward to seeing what you come up with. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lincoln, for those great words. So I just want to thank our guest host and all of our presenters and invited guests out there. Thank you so much for joining this conversation, this meeting. I do pray and hope that whatever was said just hit you somewhere in your life, that it was something that you're going to take with you, and that's going to help catapult you into your future endeavors and careers and teach you how to be persistent once you get there.